Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that looks and feels like a sleek keynote from Apple or Linear, but it's tackling one of the most stubborn domestic problems out there. We're stepping into a high-contrast world of deep graphite and crisp neon emerald green. This is a look at a system designed to bridge the gap between the messy, unpredictable reality of everyday life and the absolute bleeding edge of autonomous software. We're breaking down Ration, the agentic kitchen, and we'll see exactly how it takes a famously chaotic chore and turns it into a completely precise, agent-controlled operation. Let's kick this off with a pretty foundational premise. Managing your home kitchen absolutely shouldn't feel like endless guesswork, right? It shouldn't be this relentless, stressful cycle of forgetting what ingredients you have, making those frantic last-minute grocery runs, or, experiencing that universal pain of discovering rotting produce hidden way in the back of the fridge. What we're doing here is taking advanced logistics and applying them to the single most important supply chain we manage every single day, our food. The ultimate goal? A kitchen that is operable entirely by AI. Okay, let's jump right in. What you're looking at here is the Hub dashboard. Just take a second to notice that sleek, dark mode, sci-fi minimalism. You've got these gorgeous pitch black backgrounds, crisp monospace telemetry typography. This is literally your command center. It instantly replaces all the chaotic mental gymnastics we usually rely on to track our food. Right out of the gate, you get this unified orbital view. You see exactly what meals are ready to go, what your total supply count is, and crucially, what's expiring. Now, the whole foundation of a system like this is how well it tracks physical goods. So over here in the Cargo tab, you get your real-time inventory. Check out those orange and green badges. The idea is simple. You need to know your stock before it spoils. Instead of rummaging around the back of a freezing fridge, you get this instantaneous, perfectly sorted view of every single staple, every liquid, every unit, completely dialed in with expiration countdowns. But hey, a database is only as good as its inputs, right? And let's be real, entering all this data manually would be an absolute nightmare. So Ration solves that ingestion bottleneck with vision. The mantra here is, scan once and Cargo stays current. You literally just snap a quick photo of a crumpled grocery receipt or a completely disorganized shelf in your pantry. That's it. The AI vision model swoops in, runs OCR, parses all the items, normalizes the random quantities, and instantly updates your stock model in a matter of seconds. It is incredibly fast. And this is where the interface really evolves way past just clicking buttons. Meet the Ask Ration Copilot. It's a live chat interface built directly into the app, and it streams highly precise answers in real time. But here's the kicker. It's not just some generic language model hallucinating a recipe. It's actually checking exactly what you have sitting in your live Cargo database. You can even toggle between fast and deep thinking modes to get these beautifully calculated, exact meal matches based entirely on your physical inventory. Which naturally leads us right over to the Galley interface. This screen instantly generates cookable meals based on your current stock. And I want to emphasize, it's not just passively showing you recipes. It's computing exactly what you can realistically make right this second. It essentially runs a diff between what a recipe requires and what you actually own. This lets you cook right now and then shop strictly for the deltas, meaning you're only buying the exact ingredients you're missing. And this flow brilliantly illustrates how the system scales up from just throwing together a single meal to managing full-on household logistics. Over in the Manifest tab, you plan your entire week. It effortlessly aligns your whole crew by dropping those generated, highly optimized meals right into a weekly calendar. So you're assigning dinners to days, and you can do it with total confidence, knowing the foundational ingredients are already accounted for. To wrap up this rapid front-end tour, let's look at the supply list. Once your manifest is all set and scheduled, Ration automatically bridges that gap between what you have stocked in Cargo and what you actually need for the upcoming week. It automatically generates a highly specific shopping list, strictly for the ingredients you lack. So no more duplicate purchases, no more standing in the supermarket aisle trying to guess if you already have soy sauce at home. All right, moving into section 1, the complete ops loop and the data pipeline problem. Let's actually slow the pace down for a second and look under the hood. Because here's a fascinating perspective. Household food waste isn't actually a lack of personal discipline. When we end up throwing food away, it's really an information failure. Think about it. We either didn't know we had it, we didn't know it was expiring, or we just flat out didn't know what to do with it. So let's break down the 5 phases of a functional kitchen loop to fix that data drift. Phase 1, you ingest your inventory into Cargo. Phase 2, you match recipes in the Galley against what's actually available. Phase 3, you plan your week in Manifest. Phase 4, you generate that shopping delta in Supply. And Phase 5, this is the absolutely critical step,
You deduct via the dock the moment a meal is cooked. That resets your baseline. If you break literally any one of these steps, it leads to stale information, drifting data, and ultimately wasted food. Ration solves this by treating these 5 steps as one single unbreakable workflow.
And that brings us to Section 2, Agentic Control in Practice. We are officially moving past the era of standard passive chat boxes and stepping into a total paradigm shift for interfaces. For the longest time, the default software interface was menus and forms, and lately it's been passive chat boxes. But look at the massive difference here with true agentic app control. Standard AI just spits out a text answer and then basically says good luck, leaving you to do all the manual execution yourself. But agentic control, like Ration's Copilot, actually executes actions against your live database. It uses structured tools to write directly to your pantry, deduct ingredients, and generate those meal plans, all while staying safely within household-scoped boundaries. It doesn't just tell you what to do, it literally does the work for you. Which leads us to Section 3, Bring Your Own Agent, powered by the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Let's say you don't actually want to use the built-in Copilot. Well, Ration doesn't trap your data. It intentionally opens it up via this unified protocol. Just look at the back-end specs powering this MCP integration. External AI clients can actually self-register autonomously at Tier 0 before a human even signs up. It uses OAuth first household scoping, so your data stays completely secure. It exposes over 35 structured tools running on a ridiculously fast Cloudflare Workers edge runtime. And because these are deterministic API-driven actions, running them through MCP doesn't even chew up your in-app AI credits. You can literally just delegate your entire kitchen logistics to an external agent like Claude or Cursor and let it run the show. Now for Section 4, Semantic Search Reality, and the massive challenge of messy human data. Look, bringing AI into the real world introduces a huge engineering headache. People do not type perfectly. To deduct ingredients accurately, Ration relies on Cloudflare Vectorize and D1 databases. This illustrates the difference brilliantly. Let's say your recipe specifically calls for 2% milk, but your pantry database says whole milk 2%. A standard keyword search completely fails there, but Ration Semantic Vector Search actually understands the context, knows they're the same thing, and matches them. Or if you just type sauce, a keyword search is going to return a chaotic list of false positives, while semantic search figures out your actual intent. But honestly, here's the absolute genius part. While the text matching is super forgiving, the math is strictly numerical. It pulls the matched items from the database and runs unit and density-aware math. It ensures you genuinely have enough of that 1.5 kilograms of chicken breast to actually cook the meal. It's incredibly smart. Section 5, The Future of Kitchens. As we move toward the conclusion of this explainer, I want to highlight the core philosophy at play here. Users simply shouldn't have to choose between a premium, beautiful interface and a highly capable back-end assistant. You deserve both, working together in perfect sync. So whether you're tapping your way through that sleek UI, rocking light mode or dark mode, enjoying that exact same orbital clarity, or whether you're just firing off a prompt to an AI agent, the entire system is operating on one single truthful domain model. This means if the meal matching logic improves on the back end, both your manual dashboard and your AI copilot get smarter simultaneously. It is totally unified. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Ration and the sheer power of agentic app control, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought. Just think about your current routine for a second. Honestly, how much of your week is spent acting as a manual API for your own fridge? Constantly checking, updating lists in your head, and desperately trying to bridge the gap between what you have and what you need to cook. When the tools finally exist to close that loop entirely automatically, isn't it time to upgrade to agentic control?